been speaking about the obligation of Bitachon, Shtadlis, how it applies to business, and I want to give a very, very important foundation, a yesod, about Bitachon. We had the machlokas. I mean, it's a machlokas. It's a dichotomy which travels through the whole sugya of Bitachon. It's based on the paradigm, the famous machlokas Reb Shimon bar Yochai and Rabbi Yishmael. Reb Shimon bar Yochai is 100% pure, absolute Bitachon. And
I'm sorry for interrupting you. You're talking Bitachon in which field? General Bitachon or specifically
everything.
Specifically Parnas and Shtadlis?
Bitachon is all encompassing.
No, what I'm saying is you see, because you do see Reb Shimon bar Yochai, he was in danger and he escaped and he ran away.
That's when it's a makom sakana. That's
he didn't just rely on Hashem is going to save me and stay where he is.
Everybody asked the question, and it's a special sugya of makom sakana. In a makom sakana, you're not allowed to have Bitachon. Everybody asked the question why. Even Shimon bar Yochai.
Not only that, you see that his clothing, he sat in the sand the whole day, so his clothing shouldn't get ruined, which means he could have had bitachon that maybe Hashem is going to send him clothing every morning folded from the dry cleaners.
No, we can't be something on a miracle. That's be something on a miracle. Be something on a all the. You're asking a very, very deep question. And all I can tell you, and this is the Ramban.
Because you do see stories, You do see stories of the Kanfeona, that he escaped with tefillin, and he went in the street, and it was a sakana. He ran away. And
that was al Kiddush Hashem. He was Mercer Nefesh al Kiddush Hashem. It was a time of Shmad.
And Shimon bar Yochai wasn't Shmad?
Shimon bar Yochai, no, it was specifically against him. He was married b'malchus. It was considered Marad b'malchus because they made a gezeres because he had said something against the government. He had spoken against the government. The government therefore wanted to eliminate him, like Putin, Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's it, in Shmuel Navi. Shmuel Navi was told, "Go anoint David," and he said, "But they're going to kill me." So he said, "Make believe you're taking a korban." Everybody has to catch Shmuel Navi. I mean, he's got to be bigger than Shimon bar Yochai. He was a Navi, and yet he was afraid. That's a sugi in itself. Even a Navi did not want to go against nature, and since in a makom sakana, if it's a makom sakana, you're going against teva, and it's the you need special schusim to get out of the makom sakana, and then you have to be samach on a big nest. Don't be samach on a nest. If you samach on a nest, it's very, very dangerous.
My real question is, when you say pure bitachon, what does that mean? Taking no action?
Oh, let me get to the Basil Shurim. I want to do this. I want to do.
Because this is pure bitachon, which means do nothing, or do minimum, or it means do nothing.
According to Reb Dessler, you do minimum. We're not allowed to do nothing.
That's Reb Shimon bar Yochai? Minimum is Reb Shimon bar Yochai?
That's the shayla. Shimon bar Yochai, he actually, as far as his parnasa, he did nothing. We're not allowed to do that. The Rajba passes, all the Gemara passes about Rabbi Yishmael, Harbe also Shimon bar Yochai didn't work. Harbe also Rabbi Yishmael worked. No, there's nobody in our generation. There's nobody who can be like Shimon bar Yochai. The Navardika came closest. He came closest. He lived on Nisim. But we're not the Navardika. We're normal people. It's not going to work. Now the question is, to a certain extent, we can sort of get above our level, the normal level, and rise yourself up one notch higher, and that we can do, and that's our obligation. Go up another notch, To go like Shum Baruch, that's an extreme. But to go up another notch. Okay, let me get to the Mesil Shah. Let me get to the Mesil Shah. The problem is the shtabus, right? We live in an olam of you got to do. I mean, like, if you don't go out and advertise and hustle and make the phone calls and speak to people and make the contacts and what do they call it, and make the ksharim and the interneting.
Vitamin P.
Vitamin P, yeah. So if you don't do all that, it's not going to work.
Protects you.
Okay. and it's true, because we're living in an olam hateva, and you have to do al pi the olam hateva what is necessary. And the question is, how much is it going to work? So I have a problem.
Can I ask 2 questions before you go into the sugya?
One question.
No,
just in order the sugya should be clear.
Yeah.
And then we have to be practical, to use in the day.
Yes.
Where it comes.
We are not the grow.
Right. Where it comes, what are we supposed to do in our work every day?
You have to, not
and
to be.
Second, wait.
Okay, not to be nervous. Let me answer you. Don't be nervous.
Second, what happens if you do whatever you do? You're working a full-time job, you do your status perfectly, and you choked. You don't make enough money, and the family's, you see, you're not making it.
Again, don't
what
be
are you
nervous.
supposed to do then?
Don't be nervous.
You don't care. You see every month getting into bigger debt.
I didn't say you don't care. Of course we care.
You're
You're
doing whatever
human. You're human. You care.
Are you obligated to work 15 hours a day if you get into a situation like that?
That is a good question. What you're obligated, whether you have to.
No, but I want to add on to what Pesach was saying. I think you're. What do you mean you're not doing it?
Okay, one second.
Maybe
there's Rashi. There's one second.
Maybe
There's
you're
Rashi.
not.
There's Rashi. There's Rashi.
Maybe you're not realistic. You have to take a
Rashi and the Rambam.
And tell you if you're
Let me finish. I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. Not started. We're going to get to the 12:30, and I'm going to not have started yet.
1:30.
You have to work on yourself that you internalize this Rashi. Rashi says the yesod of Bitachon is Tomim Tiyem Hashem Elokecha. This is a mitzvahs aseh. This is a chiyuv. This is an obligation. His alech imo b'tamimos. What's going to be? I don't know. Tetzapalo. I'm hoping for a Kodesh Baruch Hu below tachar asidus. Don't try to figure out what's going to be. Like all these people in newspapers, all the opinion columns and the prognosis, and Bibi does have 61, Bibi has only 459, and all the prognosis of how much it's like, we're telling the weather. Like I call the weather the Navi Sheker. 50% of the time he's right. Something could happen, the winds could change, and all of a sudden this like happens over here. They say it's going to rain, and then all of a sudden the wind shoots it up to Turkey, and we don't get a thing. So he's a Navi Sheker. He says that's what's going to be. We don't know. Below tachkar achar asidus elokol mashiyavo alecha. Whatever Hashem sends. That's it. V'kabel. V'oz tiyemo. But I'm with Him. I'm doing this because I'm with Him. I am with Hashem. V'oz tiyeh imo ulechelkoi. The ikar is not that Hashem should help me. God helps those who help themselves. But I am with Hashem. He's my partner. He's my best pal and buddy. I am with Him. What's the difference? It says over here, Oz tihya imoy. Why did Rashi use imo? There's 2 words. There's either imo or ito. So they say when it uses the word ito, I forget the rise. Whenever it says the es Hashem Elokecha tiro, it doesn't mean that you're with Hashem. There's you, and there's Hashem, and you have a relationship, but you are separate from Hashem. Es Hashem Elokecha Tira. Es. Es is a loshon of, so if it would have said, Oz Tiyeh Ito, there's me and Hashem, and we're traveling along, and arm in arm, and we're going together, and He's helping me. God helps those who help themselves. The American motto. That's Ito. Es Eso Elokim Esalech Noach. It says by Noach, Eso Elokim Esalech Noach. It doesn't say Im Elokim. Eso Elokim Esalech Noach. There was a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and there was Noach, and no, Ostia Imo. Imo means married. Chosen Im Hakala. What are the two brachas? Esa Chosen v'Esa Kala. The two separate. And what's the final bracha? The finishing touch, right? The smash. The grand finale. Esa Imakala. Esa the Chosen Im. Esa Chosen Imakala. They're married. They're one. So you have to have a marriage with a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Oz tia ima ulachelko. Kodesh Baruch Hu's not going to let you down. We say every Shabbos, we say, I didn't bring it with me. We say every Shabbos, it's a Gra. The Gra says Pshat in Nishmas. What do we say in Nishmas? Lo azavtonu rachamecha. Lo azavtonu rachamecha.
לא עזבונו חסדיך.
Lo azavtonu rachamecha.
לא עזבונו חסדיך.
Chasadecha. It's a Nishmas.
עדינו עזבונו רחמך ולא עזבונו חסדיך.
It's going to be Nishmas.
עדינו עזבונו רחמך ולא עזבונו חסדיך.
Adheino azaruna rachamech. The Gra says this. Look at the past. Adheino azaruna rachamecha. Kodesh Baruch, you're still here. You're still in business. You made it somehow or other. You had your ups and your downs, but you made it, right? Adheino azaruna rachamecha. V'lo azavunu chasodecha. Your chesed never.
Stay in the ups and downs.
Your chesed never left me. Never left me. You never left me down. You always helped me. You never let me down. Al titshenu Hashem Elokeinu lonetzach. I trust in you. You're not going to forget about me. You're not going to leave me now.
It's a bakasha or it's a
both. So the Gra says it's like a promise. If you work on it, the Gra says it's a promise.
It's a statement.
Al tichenu. We're asking. How it's a
About
promise.
it,
If it was
about-
said lo en toshcha lanetzach, that's a promise.
It's a
הוא
statement.
צריך להישאר בדרגה
It's a
שלו,
statement.
שהוא יהיה
It's a
איתך.
statement, but I believe it. Al titshenu l'nech. Avad, it's a bakasha. That's what we can do for a Kodesh Baruch Hu. But I believe that. Every Shabbos in Nishmas. The Ani Mamins. I want to get to the before the Ani Mamins. Before the Ani Mamins. There's very very important. Yesod over here. There's a Gemara in two Gemaras, and these are the Yesod. These are the Yesod. Two Gemaras. Now the Gemara in Nida. The Gemara in Nida. Now I want you to know who this is. It's always important to know who this is. So on page 138, in the, it's you don't know what top it is. Daf Ayin on the days. Daf Samach Tesam days. Okay. Daf Samach Tesam days. Tanava Shnei Maser Devarim Sholo Anshe Alexandrius Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. You know who? Rabbi Yeshua.
This is the different page.
Yeshua ben Hanania. Which one?
You didn't go to this one.
This one.
No,
Yeah.
not this
Nida.
one.
Just turn over. Turn over.
No, it's empty, it's blank.
Oh, it's blank. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll tell you. It's Yeshua ben Hanania. So I only printed that side. I'm
Where is
sorry.
it? Neither where?
This is
What the?
Daf Ayin. So I want
Ayin
you to
bet?
know this is, you don't need to know, but this is Rabbi Yeshua ben Hanania. Rabbi Yeshua was the Rebbe of Rabbi Akiva. He was the Rebbe of Rabbi Akiva. The famous Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Gamliel, and all the Gemaras there, but he was the Rebbe of Rabbi Akiva. That's Rabbi Yeshua. Now he says, he asked, Ma yasa adam v'yisasher. In Alexandria they had very rich community, so they asked, Rebbe, no, what do you do to become rich? No, what's the school of Rebbe? Yeah?
Go to work.
Amalem, Yarba b'schayra. You got to work hard. Yarba b'schayra v'yisa v'yitin b'amuna. Two things. First, you have to be honest. You have to be honest in your business dealings. You can't win from being dishonest. You won't win. You have to be honest. But he adds, Yarba b'schayra v'yisa v'yitin b'amuna. You got to work hard. Now, all the Meforshim quote the Gemara as it says over here. The Rav Shulchan Aruch, I think the Rebbeinu B'chaya, all the Meforshim, when they quote this Gemara, they quote it as it is over here. V'yarba b'schayra v'yisa v'yitin b'amuna. Look on the left side in Hagos Hagron, the little tiny letters there. Yarba b'schayra.
We have it?
Nimchak. He takes out those words. It's not going to help you to be Yarba b'schayra. That's the Gross Shita.
What does it mean nimchak? It's a girsa?
Take out the girsa. It's wrong. He took it out.
So what's supposed to say? Nothing?
Nothing.
No,
He
he's
said-
Just
he-
Rabbi
he-
Yeshua, without Yarba
The
b'schayra.
second half. Just be honest.
Who added it? Me.
No, what-
Hagron.
Akasha for my sake.
It's not
All the
it's not a shgiat klada. You know, it's not.
He
Someone
said-
put it in over here.
I understand, but he held it's wrong. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because of the Gemara in Bava Basra. Look at the Gemara in Bava Basra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorish Rabbi Yehuda bar Rabbi Shalom. Kashem Shem, and it's also Gemara in Beitza. Kashem Shem Zainoisav Shal Adam Ketsuvim Lo Mi Rosh Hashanah. Kach Chesrei Noisav Shal Adam Ketsuvim Lo Mi Rosh Hashanah. You're not going to make any more money by working hard. On Rosh Hashanah, the Gemara in Beitza
I
said,
just don't understand because I said a few times. The Gro held it's wrong, and he decided to race the words.
yes,
Or he had it.
yes, he has the wrong gear, so it can't be.
Can be.
Can
I'm
be.
erasing it because it doesn't make sense.
It's wrong. It's against the Meforshim Gemara.
Fix it up. You know that's most.
You can't fix it. I fixed it up. I take
Most
it out.
people should give you a vote. If you do this way, it happens this way. If you do this way, it
No,
figure
it
out
doesn't
ways to
depend
make
at
it.
all. It does. Kasha.
It's the Gro. Only the Gro does
לא,
it.
יש לו...
Agav, I had a whole. I had a whole tiny of someone. I told him you can see every rabbi has his shita. You see rabbanim that they did, you know, they were more conservative.
He was no, but the grove was so, it was so clear to him. He had Kol Torah Kula on the palm of his hand, and he knew all of not just Kol Torah Kula. It doesn't mean Babli. It doesn't mean Yushalmi, Sifri, Sifra, all the Midrashim, the Zohar, the Safta, the Sniyasa, the Sefer Yitzira. I mean, he had everything.
כמה כן אסקי בקיצור.
Huh? More.
No.
He wouldn't do this. He would give shot. He would give shot. But this is the gross Girsa. I'm not.
No, it's interesting to see it.
But he's got a raya from the. Look at the Gemara in Bava Basra. What does it say in the Gemara in Bava Basra? It's not going to help. What are you working so hard for? Now I have an answer. I have an answer.
not steer, man.
According to
If you do what you're supposed to do.
According to the Michtav Me'Eliyahu, according to Michtav Me'Eliyahu, it's very simple. According to Michtav Me'Eliyahu, it depends upon the amount of Bitachon you have. There's a gezerah on you, but not that your work is going to increase anything. You're working hard because you really don't believe it.
According to the Gro, how he gives shot and the rest of it. ויישא וייתן באמונה. Why יישא וייתן? Sit and learn.
Huh?
מה זה יישא וייתן? Sit and
Because you're a
learn.
Rabbi Yishmaelnik.
So why are you working at all?
Because you.
לא, לא, היה הרבה בסחורה. היה הרבה בסחורה, למה להרבות?
לא
למה להרבות? תעשה סחורה וזהו, למה להרבות?
Working harder is not going to get. You have to do
תרבה
something.
בסחורה, תעשה יותר כסף.
How much do you have to do? Like we mentioned from Rav David Soloveitchik. He says it's like a tranquilizer. How much tranquilizer
you
you need?
continue reading the Gemara over here. You continue reading. הרבה עסוקים ולא עלו לבקש לכם איש שלום, שלום על ישראל.
זה רבי שמואל.
Amalo habi also became below hello. You got to daven.
Go, that doesn't work to go work. Go daven. זה מה שהוא אומר.
Gam, no, gam. Gam.
Here, it says over here. The ho beloy ho lo isagi. You have to have both. Right. Michael Mashman, the ho beloy ho lo isagi.
But he's telling you that working harder is not going to get you more money.
Yeah.
You have to work. Why? Because that's the gezer of Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's the gezer. That's the Mesil Shisharim.
קנס.
That's Mesil Shisharim. We have to learn the Mesil. It's very hard for us to. It's very nice to talk, but I'm telling you hardcore stuff. Hardcore stuff. So pay here. Mesil Shisharim.
This is basic. What do you mean?
This is basic, right? Bitachon. What is Bitachon? On page what is Bitachon? Sheyashlich Yehovu al Hashem legamrei. Because Baruch Hu, you're going to take care of it. Means throw your burden on Hashem.
לגמרי. Where should we look at? What's the...
On the bottom it says 194. On the bottom it says 194. Yeah, you're right there. So it says Omnam, the line after Omnam. Uhu sheyashlich Yehovu al Hashem legamrei. Means legamrei. Throw your burden on Hashem. Ba'asher yeda ki vadai I efshe sheyechso lo'odom asher nixav lo. Right? If whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu has sent you, you're going to get. On Rosh Hashanah, you got a taksiv. You got a budget. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Just throw your burden on Hashem. You're going to get whatever was given to him. Because the Gemara. It's already set.
Same Bob
It's already set. But he doesn't. He's quoting the Gemara in Beitza. He doesn't quote the Gemara, but you have to know. You have to know the second half of this Gemara in Bava Basra. Not only is your budget the income, but also the outgo. What the problems that you're going to have. The problems that you're going to have. The expenditures that you're going to have. The doctor bills that you're going to have, the dentist bills that you're going to have, the tikkunim, the fixing, the things you have to fix in the house, the plumbing explodes, you got to pizzoots, you got to burst pipe, and you got to take care of it. So all these things are in the cheshbon. It's from Rosh Hashanah already. It's from Rosh Hashanah already. So why do we have to work? Turn over. So why do we have to work? Oh, before turn over. He says, Bezeyas, the reason we have to work because there's a klola on. The reason we have to work because there's a klola on humanity. It says, Bezeyas apecha toichal lechem. Bezeyas apecha toichal lechem. Once we were thrown out of Gan Eden, so we have Bezeyas apecha toichal lechem. You have to work. Asher al kain chayav adam l'shtadel ezer shtadel l'sasar panasaso. Even Mesil Shisharim. I want you to know who the Mesil Shisharim. Do you know who the Mesil Shisharim was?
A fellow Italian Jew.
Yeah, Mesil Shisharim, Moshe Chaim Litzata. So this is. They threw him out of Italy because he had a chavrusa. He used to learn every night with a malach. So when the Rabbonim heard about that, they got scared that he's another. It was right after Shabsai Tzvi, and they said no. They put him in Chayrim, and they made him swear he's not going to learn with the Malach anymore, and he had to leave Italy. He had to go because he eventually came to Eretz Yisrael, and then he passed away in Eretz Yisrael. But he had a Malach. I mean, like he's got first-hand information of behind the scenes how it works. He's got first-hand information behind the scenes how it works, and he says you have to work. He was a diamond cutter, jewelry maker. He had a little bit of a profession, right? Shekain Gozer Melech Elyon, but it's a mas pareya. Everybody's got to pay the taxes. This is a tax that you have to pay. It says the Gemara has a kasha yochel afilu yoshev v'batel. So if I know Kodesh Baruch is taking care of me, maybe so I won't do anything. Everything's been preordained. It says b'kol mishlach yodecha asher taseh. You have to do something. You have to do b'kol asher taseh. B'kol asher taseh. You have to do something. Ach lo ishtadlis hu moyel, but it doesn't do anything. The ishtadlis is mucha. You have to work, and then the kivish ishtadl. And now there's a makom for the Birchas Shemayim to Shetishra. You want to get the Birchas Shemayim. You want to open up the gates. The Kodesh Baruch Hu is wants to send down the Shefa. Now, have you done something to open it up? Therefore, Yiseh v'yitain b'emuna. Yiseh v'yitain b'emuna. I have to tell you over this Maisa. I don't want to run out of time, so I'm going to tell you now. You have to do things with Emunah. All business has to be with Emunah. And then you have to believe, that nobody can touch you. Your taksiv, your budget, your allocations are already set from Rosh Hashanah. You're not going to lose it. And if you do something wrong, you may lose it. So Yezreel Tauber, he set up a kollel in Muncie. It was the first kollel, Chashem Mishpah kollel in the United States, I think. So he set up a Chashem Mishpah kollel in Muncie. It could be his son or his brother or son-in-law were involved with Dayanim there, but he said that they used to give shirim, Chashem Mishpah, business ethics, business Chashem Mishpah in English, so they gave a shir. So there was one fellow, businessman, and he came to the shir, and he was in real estate, and he was very big in real estate. He owned a couple of buildings in Manhattan, and he went to the shir, and they had a shir on Genevus Das. And Genevus Das is very, very hard. Genevus Das is you're not allowed to mislead somebody. If you're selling goods, you can't cover over the defects. If you have a car, you want a car, you could take the car to the mechanic, and the mechanic says your transmission is about to go, get rid of the car. So I can douse it with heavy oil. You won't hear a thing, but get rid of it fast before it burns up the oil, right? You're not allowed. If you have a problem with the transmission, you're selling the car, you have to tell the buyer, you should know there's a problem with the transmission. You can't cover things over. You take an old rusty thing and you paint it over, it looks brand new with enamel paint, and underneath it's all rotten and corroded. You can't do that. That's Genevus Das. You can't mislead. Goy, Jew or Goy, even a Goy. If you're doing business with a Goy, you cannot mislead anybody. You got to be honest in your business. It's very, very hard halacha for businessmen, because that's the name of the game. That's the name of the game, is to try to sell them, but you're not allowed to sell them lemons, unless he's in the lemonade business. But they gave a shir on Genevus Das. So this fellow comes over to the Maggid shir, the rabbi after the shir, and he says, "Is that true? Is this true?" He says, "Yeah, sure." So if that's the case, I'm in trouble. He was big real estate, and he owned a lot of real estate, and he had just bought a building. He says, I just bought a building, and I always do an engineering test. I always bring in the engineers to test it, and we missed it. The engineers missed a very rare fault in the deep down the sub foundation. In New York, they got foundations, they got sub foundations. So in the sub foundation, there's a fault in the sub foundation, and every once in a while it acts up, and to fix it, and it just wipes out my whole flow. Because like $30,000 a shot just to fix it, so it starts leaking and flooding and maybe crack some pipes.
That's what happened in Miami. Circular.
Yeah. So
That's his building.
It cost me a lot of money. It wipes out all my cash flow. So I said to myself, just like,
Get rid of it.
you know, I fell in, so I'll sell it, and the other guy will fall in. Like, you know, it's his problem. And according to American law, that's okay. You know, he brings in his engineers, and you don't have to tell him. In American law, you don't have to tell him.
Also in Israel, by the way, as is.
As is.
As is.
לא, אבל זה אסור לך לחסות גם שאתה לא יודע, אתה יכול בחוקית לחסות את זה שאתה אומר שאתה לא ידעת. טכנית זה...
All right, whatever it is in America. So he says, I'm in trouble because I just sold it. Not only did I sell it, I sold it for $1 million profit. Right? Now I'm in trouble. Now if I have to go tell the guy, he's going to back out of the contract, and I'm stuck with my elephant. You know, what am I supposed to do? So the rabbi says, what can you do? You have to, you know, that's the law. You know, I have to tell him. You have to tell him. So he's sweating, like he goes back and says, Rabbi, if I give $10,000 to the kollel, maybe this time God will
So the rabbi
overlook.
said, yeah.
God will overlook it, and you know, I promise to be good next time. You know, never do it again. No. That's the thing. He says, I'll make God a partner. $500,000. $500,000 a partner. Even Stevens, we're in it together, right? And I said, sorry, you can't wipe out. You can't erase a halacha from Shulchan Aruch. All right, I'll give you the whole $1 million profit. Just let me get rid of get rid of the building and you get it off my head.
The rabbi said, now we're talking.
So Ezra Tower was a businessman. He was a businessman. Ezra Tower was a businessman. So he came over he heard this conversation going on, so he came over to the guy. And he says, I don't understand you. Either you believe or you don't believe. It says that there's a halacha of Gnei V'Stas. You're not allowed to do it. Now, if you follow the halacha, Kol Mezoi Noisa Shalom Kesuvim Lo M'Rosh Hashanah Ad Yom Kippurim. You're not going to lose. By following halacha, you can't lose. That's what it says in Chazal. Now, either you believe Chazal or you don't believe Chazal. Now, if you don't believe Chazal, so then I advise you, next Sukkot, when you pick up your lulav, instead of taking an esrog, pick up a banana. Very nice. It doesn't say an esrog in the Torah. What does it say? It says, Prietz Hadar. It says a beautiful fruit. I think a banana is a beautiful fruit. I'm going to pick up a banana together with my lulav. Why not? Because the Chazal told us a Prietz Hadar is an esrog. Chazal told us it's Gnei V'Stas, and all your income is not. And if you don't do that, and if you do an avera of Gnei V'Stas, you know, so Krish Baruch Kach Chasrei Noisav are Kesuvim Lo. You weren't supposed to make this money because it's stolen money. So you're going to invest it in the stock market. Stock market's going to crash. You're going to lose your whole $1 million investment and get a heart attack to boot. So he was a Baal Tshuva, and he says, "Okay, Rabbi, you convinced me. Okay, I'm going to call him up tomorrow, and I'm going to let him know, and I know he's going to break the deal." He says, "One second. Let's. You have to be business smart. You're allowed to be business smart in Frum." He didn't come up with the money. All he gave was a $250,000 deposit. He gave a $250,000 deposit, and he tied up the building. You can't do anything with it. It's locked. And he's thinking about it until he comes. Maybe he won't come up with the money. Maybe he'll forfeit the deposit, and then you walked off with $500,000, $250,000. You don't know. Wait till closing. decided, waited for closing. Finally they got to closing, and this is a big deal, it's a multi-million-dollar deal over here. So they go into the room, and the buyer's got his lawyers and real estate agents and insurance agents and also title agents. He's got a whole slew of experts, and he walks in with this Yidel walks in with just him and his lawyer, 2 Jews, the only 2 Jews in the room, right? And they're sitting there, and before they sign over the final signing of the contract, so he hands them over a memorandum and says that the seller is informing the buyer that there's a problem with the sub-foundation and acts up every once in a while. And if the buyer wants to back out of the contract, I give him full availability to back out of the contract. So the buyer, what's this? What's wrong? Can't read English? So he hands it to his lawyer. So the lawyer says, what are you trying to say over here? Whatever it says, I said, it's English, whatever it says. It says, why'd you wake up now? Why didn't you, when you made the deal, when you started the sale, why didn't you bring this up? Why now at the time of the final the final signing of the contract, are you bringing this up? Well, I'll tell you the truth. I'm a religious Jew. And we religious Jews we know that in civil law, I didn't have to tell you, because you bring in your engineers, and your engineers decide whether it's a good investment or not, and you buy it according to whatever you found out, and I have no obligations. But we have different obligations. I'm a religious Jew, and I follow the ethics of Sinai, which were given to the Jews 3,300 years ago, 3,300 years ago. And according to our ethics, business ethics, I have to let you know about any hidden defects in anything I sell you. So I'm telling you now that there's a defect, and I'm allowing you to back out if you wish. So, oh yeah, means because of something that was given to you 3,000 years ago, you're willing to lose $1 million? You Jew boy. So he turns to the seller and he says, don't listen to that Jew boy. He probably found a better buyer. He wants you to back out so you can make more money. Okay. So
the lawyer wants to get his fee.
The buyer says,
and the broker wants to get 6%. There's no deal. There's no money.
So the buyer says, okay, I'm buying it as is. Right? Mazel bracha, it's all sold. Right? So now they had a shaila, how much meiser is now stuck he's got to give. The 100,000, 500,000, the million problem. That's a different shaila, So anyway,
I'm sure he found the pool over there.
A month, 2 months go by. A month, 2 months go by, and it acts up. And it wiped out the buyers. They wiped out his whole cash flow. He called them up. You Jews are amazing. You were honest. I don't believe it.
Too bad, man. Too bad.
I don't think, in a regular case, they would think this guy is so smart. He came to the deal to pretend.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. So he wants us to think that he wants to back out, so we should. And that's.
You won't lose out. Hashlech al Hashem Yehovcha. V'hu yichal kalecha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of you. Now you have to do yours. You have to do yours. You have to. I won't get into this Gemara is brought down in halacha. This Gemara is brought down in halacha. Yeah. Over here, Pasha Saman. I advise this. How do we work on Bitachon? You have to internalize it. How do you internalize it? Speaking it out over and over. Say it over to yourself. What's the Eitzah? So it's brought down in Chazal here. This is a Mishnah Berurah, and the Mishnah Berurah brings down. We saw this, but look at this. Look what he's quoting over here. He brings down Parsha Saman Kadesh. You say Parsha Saman every day. It takes 4 minutes. It's good ishtadlus. You know, you ask me how much ishtadlus do. It's good ishtadlus. And it works. Kadesh yamin shekom zoynoisa boim ba'ashkocha pratis. Your parnasa comes from ashkocha pratis. Hamarba lo hidiv v'amamit lo hitzu. You're not going to gain anything. You're not going to lose anything. Put everything on Hashem. She'ein ribo yishtadlus moyel ma'uma. And the Rishalmi says, Kol ha'omer parshas Haman, move kach lo shelo yismayotim in zoynoisim. This is a schooler. He asked me for schoolers, putting the red band on your, all these schoolers, donate to Baba, whoever it is, Baba Yosef, Baba
Baba
right? No, this school is brought in the Yerushalmi. It's brought in the Yerushalmi, but you have to think about it. If you realize that everything is from Hashem, there's a famous story. Rebbetzin Suraskin, remember Rebbetzin Suraskin? So she was I think Baruch Suraskin's wife. They moved to when they first built Telstone. They moved to Telstone, and she was a very hush of a lady, and she got sick, and she needed an emergency operation. And she said, "I want the best surgeon." And they found out the name of the best surgeon. Only him, only that surgeon. So I said, you can't get an appointment for months. He's booked solid. I'm not letting anybody touch me except that one surgeon. She decided on that surgeon, nobody else. That's it. So they did all the protexias and they were pulling strings and smearing hands, whatever they had to do to get it. They finally got an appointment and he took her. Right? So he's about to wheel her into the operating room. She said, "I want to speak to the doctor." This lady, this nudge right. "What do you want, lady?" "Yes." Says, "Doctor, I want to thank you. You know that I wouldn't let anybody touch me except for you. And I thank you. I knew that I couldn't get an appointment, and you were kind enough to give me the appointment. And I feel that you are the best shliach to do this operation, and I want to thank you very much." "Well, thank you, lady. Thank you. I want to tell you something. I want to let you know it's a very serious operation. If I don't come out of it, and I don't come out of this operation, and I pass away, I don't want you to feel bad. It's not you. Hashem decided it was my time, and He took me away. I don't want you to feel bad if the operation doesn't succeed and I don't pull out of it." Such a sensitive lady. That's all that you're thinking about. You're going into a very serious operation, and all you can think about is how the doctor's going to feel while he's operating. I mean, I've never seen such sensitivity. You're a very, very noble lady. Thank you so much. Says, "Doctors, I'm not finished yet. One more thing, doctor. And I want you also to know, and if the operation is successful, it's also not you. It's a Kodesh Baruch." Blew all the gaiva out of this big haughty doctor.
What happened?
I think she pulled out of it.
Yeah.
So I just want to end with another mushal. The Chavetz Chaim says that when they invented the telephone and they invented the camera, right? In his days they invented the camera. says, why they invent the camera? Why did Kodesh Baruch? Why couldn't they invent the camera until then? And all of a sudden they invented the camera and taking pictures, and then they invented the telephone. You can talk, cross country to people. So, because people have lost their emunah. In the old days, people had emunah, and they were able to have emunah. Just looking at the stars in the heavens, they believed in a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and they saw the wonders of nature, and David HaMelech, and they're very in tune with nature, and you can see the miracles of nature, and you realize that Kodesh Baruch Hu is running the world, and we've lost that. So people need a chizik in that. So Kodesh Baruch Hu says that everything that you do there's a record of it in Shemayim. I don't believe it. So now we have cameras. And he hears everything that I'm saying. Now we have telephones. So along came somebody who says, yeah, but where's the wire? So now we have wireless. And then
satellites.
Yeah, satellites and digital and video, and they have 3D. I went to the Kaisel and they put these goggles on with the earphones, and mamish is like 3D. It's like your mamish. You feel like you're in there. But we're still not enough. We don't feel that a Kodesh Baruch Hu was here. So what did he send? He sent us Waze. What's Waze? GPS. Okay, you have a destination you want to go to, and you got this little voice in the car. It says, make a left turn. No, you missed it. Turn around. Go. It's directing you. Everything is being directed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows exactly where you are. He's got a GPS up here in Shemayim. Everybody's got his own GPS, his own Waze attached to him. He knows where you are and where you're going, and he's correcting you and giving you directions. Go left, go right. This is how you're going to get to your destination. And if this is what we have to internalize. Kodesh Baruch Hu, there's hashgacha pratis. Ani Mamin, the second. Ani Mamin. B'emunah shleima. Shaboire Yisbar. Say this also every day. Aleph and Yud, especially. All 13 are very important. Shaboire Yisbar Shmo Boire. He created the world, but he's manig l'kol abrum. He's manig everything. Hulavada also, he did everything. Everything that happened to me was a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Don't blame anybody. Don't hold any grudges. He's oisa. He's doing things now, and hu yasa. He's going to help me be matzliach. And don't think you can hide from him, because Habari Yisbarach Ani Mamed B'Amunah Shlema Shabari Yisbarach Shmo Yodeya Kol Ma'aseh B'nei Adam. He knows everything that you're doing. And if you work on this and you believe this, then you're Hisalach Imo B'Tmimis. You know he's right there with you. Hisalach Imoy. Go together with the Kodesh Baruch B'Tmimis. V'oz Tiyeh Imo L'Chelkoi.
Quick question.
Yes.
To my knowledge, the only other segula in the Mishnah is washing your hands with a full kos, like pouring out water.
I didn't.
Look
Not my point. No. It says that you fill the water all the way.
Right.
Yeah,
It done.
It says
Tills
sometimes it's
done.
all the way to top, or
Mein
flowing.
Rishon.
Is that dafka on bread or just
Bread.
only bread?
That's
Not
because
never lost
we'll
in the
the
morning.
special parnos about
Today it's easy. Once you used to bring the water from the well.
You said they
And
were
they were so
stingy on water.
Is that
Today
true
to
today?
take
though?
another.
They're saying it is true today. It's not
If-
true. It is true today. Still.
If you do it for the right reason, not just you have to think about it because like he says, if you just read Parshas Aman,
It's not gonna work.
it doesn't work. You have to internalize it.
Okay, but right before the shofar says Tov Ma'at, the Kavanah Ma'arbos below Kavanah. Right?
That's part of Tachnunim.
So
Tachnunim is Tachnunim.
yeah, but that's paragraph.
All right, I don't want to get involved in my because people go crazy. They douse the whole hand with a whole kli of water, which is unnecessary. Rav Shammai was against it, wasting water. It's
You should have a full.
it's like he said in the old days.
No, so you fill
ever
it
see
one
these
time,
guys? You ever
fill
see
it
these
one
guys
time,
buy
that's it.
macaron and they pour just a drop? That's what he was talking about. Don't just pour a drop on.
Make sure
Not my macaroni.
You cover-
My Rishon.
For mine rishonim, not mine. Also my machronim. My
Both you're
machronim.
saying.
You need a
Both.
revius. You need a
Shefa.
revius. It should come from a revius. Now you don't need a revius
need a
in your hands.
revius?
Mine rishonim, you need a revius. And yeah, this whole big. I don't want to go into the luck online here. You know that it's metamed. It's because of truma, and it's metamed. The water becomes tummy, and if you don't have enough water, it could be the water was tummy. It was puzzle. Always use a revius, but a revius is smaller than you think. And one of these things, you got like 10 revius in.
I got this little travel thing. It's awesome. And it folds up and it folds. It's revius. It's like that's what I use in the morning.
10 revius. But for parnasa, specifically for parnasa, is parshas Aman and Rivers Hamazon.
In adventure.
Rivers Hamazon is the chinuch. Sefer chinuch.
In adventure.
Huh?
Read it from a text.
At least two.
Yeah. Reading it.
CC.
So we'll talk about that at a different time.
Okay, but
I got a gavaldic mice about that.
on Parshas Mon, we should it's we'll say the entire thing, or you could say little parts of it with Kavana.
The whole thing.
Doc could only
You can do it. 4 minutes. It's nothing.
So I started doing it with like a few lines, stopping, thinking.
You won't, but you have to see the whole thing.
You have to see it's all the whole thing.
You have to realize, when you're not in a hurry, think about what happened, you know. You got a full fridge there, and you got your freezer, right? You got your freezer, and right, you're not worried. They didn't have a freezer. They didn't have a freezer there. Anything they left over got wormy, and they had to go out every day to get today's food.